Have you ever felt like your dog is manipulating you? That intense, soulful gaze that seems to reach straight into your heart. Those expressive eyes that seem to say so much without a single word. Here's the thing, it's not just your imagination. Our dogs have evolved into master manipulators, practically designed to tug at our heartstrings. What you're seeing isn't just affection. It's an evolutionary tactic we've unknowingly helped refine. But how far does this manipulation really go? Is it simple communication, or are we falling for an evolutionary trick? Scientists have discovered something fascinating. Over time, dogs developed a special muscle around their eyes, a muscle so expressive it's as if they're wired to control our emotions. But is it purely manipulation, or are they genuinely conveying feelings with those looks? Let's explore that later. This raises some interesting questions I'd love for you to consider with me. How do dogs use their eyes to get what they want? Are they really showing emotions? How do their eyes compare to ours? And is it true that they only see in black and white? Let's dive into the remarkable and complex world of canine eyes. We're so used to having pets that we rarely stop to reflect on how remarkable it is to care for a being that, without speaking a single word, earns our affection in such a special way. Just yesterday, something happened that got me thinking. It was sparked by a behavior I've seen in my dog countless times. But this time, it struck me as curious, even strange, or perhaps fascinating. Honestly, I'm not sure exactly what feeling crossed my mind. It started in the kitchen while I was preparing dinner. I turned around, and there he was, Max, my dog, sitting quietly with those big bright eyes, staring at me like his life depended on that piece of chicken I was about to cut. Of course, I gave in. Who wouldn't? That look is like a spell you can't resist. But later, I couldn't shake the question, why does that look have so much power over us? At first, I told myself the obvious answer. I gave him the chicken because I love him. But as I watched Max use the same tactic on everyone in the house, I started to wonder, is there more to this gaze than meets the eye? And so, my investigation began. Is it just that eyes are beautiful? Or is there something deeper about how they work? Have they always been this way? Or is this a skill they've developed over time? What I discovered blew me away. This line of questioning led me to a fascinating discovery. Our dog's eyes are an evolutionary marvel designed specifically to connect with us in ways we don't yet fully understand, even in the 21st century. And the most surprising part, we've played a significant role in shaping how their eyes became what they are today. While researching Max's gaze, I stumbled across something truly astonishing. His eyes aren't just expressive by chance. Scientists have found that over thousands of years, dogs developed a special muscle around their eyes that allows them to do exactly what Max was doing in the kitchen, manipulating me. This muscle, called the levator anguli oculi medialis, is found only in dogs. It lets them raise their inner eyebrows, creating that classic puppy dog eyes expression that seems to beg, "Love me," or "Please, just a little taste." What's even more fascinating, wolves, dogs' wild ancestors, don't have this muscle. You only have to look at this comparison from a study titled Evolution of Facial Muscle Anatomy in Dogs. The study, published in Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences in 2019, analyzed dog and wolf cadavers and found that this muscle was fully developed in dogs, but either absent or barely functional in wolves. According to researchers, this change occurred as a direct result of domestication. Dogs capable of making these expressions were more likely to receive care and food from humans, giving them an evolutionary advantage. When a dog raises its eyebrows in that iconic way, their eyes appear larger, rounder, and more baby-like. And here's where the emotional magic happens. Our brains are wired to respond to that look with feelings of love and protection, just like when we see a human baby. This muscle is unique to dogs. It allows them to raise their inner eyebrows, creating that characteristic expression of big pleading eyes. The husky, a breed closely related genetically to wolves, provides a glimpse into what early dogs might have looked like before these specific facial adaptations evolved. According to the study, humans, consciously or unconsciously, preferred dogs that could produce these movements, which led to a selective advantage in the development of this trait. In fact, research conducted in a shelter revealed that dogs exhibiting these facial movements more prominently were adopted faster. Impressive, isn't it? I too was fascinated by this discovery, and it made me think about Max. I realized that his gaze wasn't just the result of an emotional bond between us. It was also an evolutionary tool, almost as if he were programmed to capture my attention and trigger my caregiving instincts. And it works. I admit that those eyes have won me over more times than I can count. What amazes me the most is how unaware we are of the role we've played in this evolutionary process. Over thousands of years, we've rewarded dogs that could better communicate with us, unknowingly shaping their facial muscles to align with our human emotions. And here we are, with our dogs playing us like a perfectly tuned violin. And I thought we were slaves to cats, but evidence tells a different story. Today, once again, while I was preparing dinner, Max approached me, but this time, when I saw him, I didn't think about how cute he was. I thought about how manipulative he is. And then I gave him food. Honestly, it wouldn't surprise me if he had read my mind. Something else I found interesting to explore is this. How does Max actually see me? Does he see me in black and white, or is that just a myth? In other words, how does a dog's vision really work? When I started reading about canine vision, I discovered much more than I had expected, a whole new world. And when I came to understand that while a dog's eyes might seem as expressive and human as ours, their actual function is quite different. Of course, when it comes to basic anatomy, their eyes are similar to ours. They have a retina, iris, pupil, cornea, and lens. But the physiology of canine vision has fascinating differences compared to humans. One of the most notable differences lies in their color perception. While we have 3 types of cones in our retinas, allowing us to see a wide range of colors, dogs only have 2. This means that although they can perceive color, their vision is dichromatic, limited to shades of blue and yellow. For them, red and green are practically indistinguishable, appearing as different shades of gray or brown. So, while you see this, your dog sees the same scene like this. And the next time you throw a red ball on a green lawn. It's not that your dog is ignoring it, they just don't see it the way you do, which makes it harder for them to find. Another key difference is their sensitivity to motion. Dogs have more rods in their retinas than humans, making them much better at detecting movement, especially in low-light conditions. In fact, their sensitivity to motion is 10 to 20 times greater than ours. This heightened sensitivity allows them to notice even subtle shifts in posture. It's one reason dogs can be trained using silent hand signals. Then there's the tapetum lucidum, a reflective layer behind the retina that we humans don't have. It amplifies light, enabling dogs to see much better in the dark than we can. It's also why their eyes seem to glow at night when light hits them at certain angles. By the end of my research, I understood, well, most of it. While our eyes are designed to observe fine details and vibrant colors, theirs are optimized for survival, detecting movement and seeing in dim light. That's why their vision operates with a more limited color palette. We must remember that dogs descend from wolves, predators adapted for hunting. Although domestication has shaped their evolution, their essence still retains traits that remind us of their wild origins. Everything I've discussed so far is fascinating, but my curiosity didn't stop there. Because, to me, dogs didn't just develop their eyes to manipulate us. I firmly believe they also adapted their eyes to communicate with us. That's right, I'm saying dogs can express emotions through their gaze, and anyone with a dog and a special bond with them knows exactly what I mean. I say this because a friend recently told me a story that made me reflect deeply on how dogs communicate with us, especially through their eyes. His family adopted a small beagle named Otto when he was a child. Otto was a special dog, but not in the way most would expect. From the beginning, he displayed reserved behavior, especially after an unfortunate accident as a puppy. At just 1 month old, my friend's younger brother accidentally dropped Otto, causing serious neurological problems that affected him for the rest of his life. So severe, in fact, that Otto required permanent medication to reduce his symptoms. As Otto grew, my friend developed a unique bond with him, learning to interpret the subtle signals Otto sent with his eyes. His brother, however, didn't have the same luck. Otto wasn't an aggressive dog, but his neurological issues made him more reactive, especially when he felt uncomfortable or scared. My friend told me how Otto would move his pupils in a specific way, almost like a warning to communicate his discomfort. It was as if he were saying with his gaze, "Don't come closer. I am not okay." This silent language was key to their coexistence. My friend understood that when Otto gave him that look, it was best to give him space. However, his brother failed to pick up on these subtle cues, resulting in more than 10 bites over the years. While Otto never caused serious harm, the experience left a clear lesson. Dogs are always trying to communicate to us to interpret what they're saying. What's fascinating is that there's a lot of science behind this. A study published in Applied Animal Behavior Science found that dogs don't just use body position and tail movements to communicate, as we discussed in the previous video. They also intentionally use their eyes. Further research shows that dogs can change the direction of their gaze, or even the position of their pupils, in response to stress or discomfort, sending clear signals about their emotional state. Otto was no different. His eyes were his most powerful tool for expressing what his gestures couldn't. But, as with many human-canine relationships, the problem wasn't with Otto, it was with our ability to listen. This story made me reflect on how many misunderstandings happen because we don't pay enough attention to a dog's unique language. And I want to emphasize here now how crucial this is, especially for dogs with more reactive behaviors under stress. It's important to remember that under our care is a living being who, while unable to communicate with words, possesses an emotional depth that sometimes surpasses our own. Perhaps that is our greatest challenge, but learning to read our dog's emotions isn't just an act of love. It might also be the key to harmonious coexistence. Otto never lashed out without first giving a warning. His only mistake was trusting that everyone would understand him. That's all for today. Let me know what you think of this research and share any interesting stories you have about your dog's gaze. Thanks for watching. This is the Dog Inspector. See you in the next video.